Martinique Brown, and I am the owner and founder of Today I Want to Be. We are solving the problem of kids and youth not seeing someone who looks just like them in a variety of career fields. We are a career exploration resource for parents and educators, and through our interactive products and virtual interviews, kids and youth are able to see representation of their race and gender in career fields that they may not even know about. With every product we create, from our educational aids to our apparel and accessories, we are intentional about encouraging and helping kids and youth see that they can become anything they want to be. We are the only company who not only focuses on career exploration for kids and youth, but we also give them an opportunity to ask professionals about their careers every month during our free live virtual interviews as student co-hosts. If you are looking for a company that is dedicated to helping your child or student see that they can become anything they want to be, make sure you visit todayiwanttobe.com today.
be a teacher like Miss Joseph. Very good. I see. Or you could be who remembers? Say, I can be a social worker. Yes, a social worker.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our very first episode of Relationship Talk with Martinique. I'm your host, Martinique Brown. I'm so excited that you guys have decided to tune into the show today. So Relationship Talk is actually a show about Christian singles and couples discussing real issues with practical solutions. I'm really excited about our guest today because our topic today is forgiveness after infidelity. So we have Mr. Seymond Perry and Miss Sarah Perry here on the show today. Now, if this is your first time ever tuning into the show, make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about their testimony and how great God is in restoration as well. Another thing about this show is it's interactive. So if you're watching from any other page other than Martinique Y. Brown Facebook page or Sarah Perry Facebook page, or even Martinique the Storyteller YouTube page, I need you to come on over to one of those three pages so that I can see your questions and your comments, and then I can actually relay those to our guests as well. So now you might see this show and you might say to yourself, I'm telling you, I got a story within me too. I want to be a guest. You can definitely fill out the form to be a guest, to be a guest on the show. Now, that form link is actually in the description box. And right there where you see all of those stars, that's actually the link that you need to click on. Go ahead and fill out that simple form. It's going to take about 2-3 minutes. And you can be a Christian single or a Christian couple. But if you feel that you have a story to share that the viewers will really just benefit from, go ahead and fill out that form now. So give us a virtual shout out. Let us know that you are in the virtual world. We will not bite you. But Seymond and Sarah, thank you guys so much for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
You are welcome. So, Seymond, we'll go ahead and start with you. Can you tell the viewers just a little bit more about yourself?
I am a teacher by profession. I teach high school geometry, married to my wonderful wife of 17. Wonderful,
Long,
hard,
You're so funny.
years. Met each other in high school. Love Jesus, author, content creator. Not much I don't do, but the loving Jesus is the top one above all the other accolades. That somebody that's just trying to serve God in their life.
That's good. So. That's good. And if you are not a UAPB alumni, that's how I met Sarah and Seymond. So shout out to UAPB, shout out to Pine Bluff. And I didn't even know that you guys met in high school. But go ahead, Sarah, tell the viewers just a little bit more about yourself.
Hello, I am Sarah Perry. I am from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, born and raised. I am a proud graduate of Pine Bluff High School, the only high school in Pine Bluff. I am also, yes, I am a proud 2008 graduate of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, the flagship of the Delta, where I sang in the Vesper Choir. I am a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated and a member of Sigma Alpha Iota International Music Fraternity. I currently teach at Southeast Arkansas College as an adjunct instructor for the early childhood education degree program. And I also teach in the early Head Start classroom. I do a lot. I'm the proud mother of 4 children: Seymond Perry Jr., Sean Michael Perry, Sarah Perry, and Samson Perry. I am the proud wife of Seymond Perry, who I have known for 23 years. As of February, it's been 23 years that he has been in my life. We have been married for 17 years. It'll be 18 years in April.
Only God can do it.
Shout out to that. So I do want to give a shout out to LaShanya Walker. She said hello from Flint, Michigan, in the house. And Flint. Also, Ashley Whitestone is here on the show. She said, hey, y'all. Again, if you are tuning in right now, you are watching Relationship Talk with Martinique. Today, we'll be talking about forgiveness after infidelity. So, you know what? I'm really glad to see that you guys still have your sense of humor. You're still smiling, because we are talking about a pretty serious topic today. So you've already answered my question. You know, the first question was, how long have y'all been married? So you've been married for 17 years, but you've known each other for 23 years at that. And I do want to first start with Sarah. So, and then I think so we'll start with Sarah. But Sarah will first let you start, and then I'm going to ask you the same question, Seymond. So you got to listen, Seymond, because I'm not going to repeat it. So the question is, why did you want to share your story instead of letting this be the past and just moving on?
Honestly, I know that sharing it makes it real, for one, not hiding behind it, because a lot of people have come to me or to my husband and said, y'all look like y'all have the perfect marriage. Y'all just look like y'all got it all together. And that is absolutely far from the truth. And also because marriage represents the church and how Christ gave his life for us, it all comes together. I want to share with other people how to overcome it. A lot of people I've met, of course, say it couldn't be me. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't, and that's fine. Like, I'm not knocking people that decide to leave. And I don't, I encourage people to try to work it out and stay, but I don't knock people for leaving, because everybody has to make their own decision for their life. But for my life, God showed me a long time ago a vision of the things my husband and I were supposed to be doing together as far as ministry. And the enemy, ever since then, well, even before then, has done a interesting job in trying to distract that purpose. And I know that there's a bigger purpose. Just God put us together for a reason, and I want to glorify Him in that and enjoy my marriage at the same time. And so I want to share that it can still be done even after huge mistakes.
That's good. That's good, Sarah. So Netta J says, Sarah, I love you, girl. And now we're going to hear from you, Seymond. Why did you want to share your story instead of letting this just be the past?
It is always easier to learn from somebody else's mistakes. Mm-hmm. And if nobody is willing to share where they messed up time and time and time again, if nobody's willing to expose themselves, and I think us in the church, we get big on, well, I don't want you to know my sin, or I don't want you to know the depth of my sin. But oftentimes knowing how bad you were messed up gives me hope that God can help me in my marriage, where I see this pretty picture of you all today, and we ain't got it all together today. But what I see, I would like to have just what I see in you all. But if I never share how bad it's been, then you have no clue of, oh, I'm not that bad off. My marriage does have hope. I can survive. I can make it. But oftentimes we are bad about not opening up and sharing our mistakes, or we give people information that is not helpful to help them in their marriage. And I'm trying not to get ahead on the question, so I'll stop there.
Yeah. So I'll ask you, Sarah, who cheated on who first?
Did we ever figure that out?
We did. It was technically me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I look at sometimes infidelity, or the sin of infidelity, or perversion, or sexual perversion. I actually cheated on Seymond when we were in high school. And because we were in high school, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And you know how people say, sin will take you farther than you want to go, make you stay longer than you really want to stay. When you start doing something and the enemy will tempt you, and it gets easier and easier, and then the Holy Spirit is like, and then he'll dangle it in front of you again, and then you may back away. And so that was kind of like my lifestyle for years, of teeter-tottering with that. So technically, when everything came out in the open, I was the one that cheated first before.
So y'all dated. So y'all dated in high school?
Yes, I was 16. He was 18. He was a senior, and I was a sophomore. And that's when we began dating, February of 2000.
Okay, y'all started dating February of 2000. And then y'all got married what year?
2005.
2005, y'all was married. Okay. So so you cheated first, Sarah, in high school while y'all was dating. And then after you told him, well, let me ask you that. Did you tell him?
No.
You never told him, and then y'all just kept dating. Did y'all ever break? Go ahead.
We broke up my senior year of high school because he had just got called to preach, and we were fooling around a lot, doing stuff we weren't supposed to be doing, and the guilt was kind of overbearing, I know, for both of us. like the day he preached his first sermon, he brought me home and broke up with me in the driveway.
I know that's right. You like, I rebuke you, Satan.
Yeah,
because it'd be hard to even preach. You don't even feel right about preaching. You're like, I'm doing this, and I'm trying to tell people to do this.
Yeah, so we broke like my entire senior year of high school. So that was like that September of my senior year. Stayed broken up, and then we got back together August of my freshman year of college.
Okay, you got back together when in college?
August of my freshman year, fall 2002.
Freshman year. Okay. So you got back together your freshman year of college. So let me ask this question. When we're talking about infidelity and cheating, are you only referring to, Sarah, what you did in high school? Or did it also happen in the marriage?
So a freshman year of college, I cheated. And then I stopped. We got engaged my sophomore year. We got married my junior year.
Married junior, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then 3 years later, I cheated again.
Okay, and so like, look at Seymond. Look at Seymond. Seymond, like, why did I stay? He like, you dirty dog. So, okay, so Sarah.
Yes.
All these times, did you tell him? It was like, Seymond, look,
No, I am the queen of attempting to keep my dirt to myself. The queen.
So do you, as a Christian, do you feel like long as I ask Jesus for forgiveness, then I don't have to tell that individual?
Now I know that that's not the right thing to do. But in my mind frame, after so long, like once I realized he had cheated too, it was like, well, if he can do it, I'm do it. And then, but of course, I'm at church every Sunday, crying at the altar every Sunday, about every Sunday. So it like I said in the beginning, for me, it was a teeter-totter thing. I would do it, then I would stop, and I'd do it, then I stopped, and eventually it got to the point where I just did it a lot.
Okay, so you did this a lot. And so this, when you finally told Seymond, like, was it a matter of?
I think because your behavior changes, things shift. You think you're hiding stuff and you think you're still acting the same, but you don't. And I remember the first time he confronted me, when he confronted me the first time about cheating, it was after he had cheated.
Seymond, did you even know she cheated on you all these other times?
Which other times?
In high school.
In high school?
Okay, let's start. Let's not even count high school.
Okay.
Right.
After you guys are, because you cheated. Okay, no. Sarah, you cheated after y'all got engaged.
No, I had stopped then.
Okay, you stopped. Then you cheated once you got married.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so Seymond, did you know about any of those?
Now, I can't say that I had like concrete evidence proof that anything was going on.
Yeah.
But when you've been with somebody for however long, they don't even have to be your spouse. If you've been with somebody in a relationship with them 5, 10 years, you know them.
Okay.
And I think that that's the thing that we always take God out of the equation. Like God can't just tell, hey, your spouse is doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's the thing about sin is it takes you to a place where you're just an idiot. And you just start saying and doing stuff that does not make logical sense. Right. And you think it blinds you, and you think that
very much so.
Nobody knows. I'm doing a good job of covering this up.
Right.
And you think that God's word isn't true, that what's done in the dark will be exposed eventually. And so I would pick up on stuff.
Okay.
That was different. You pick up on little stuff. You ain't got no concrete evidence. but something ain't right. And you would just keep an eye out and you'd move on.
And you wouldn't confront her?
I mean, there were times I had confronted her.
And so, Sarah, you was just like, whatever, it's you.
I was the queen of deny unless you had concrete evidence. It was horrible.
Okay, so if you guys have never been to Pine Bluff is this big. How in the world did you not get called? It's only like what, 30,000 people in Pine Bluff?
Pine Bluff at long time ago was like at 60,000. That's neither here nor there.
Okay, 60,000. 60,000.
30,000 more people.
Yeah.
In complete transparency, I did a lot of cheating outside of Pine Bluff.
Okay. So let me start with you, Sarah. What was the cause of your cheating? What was the cause of your cheating in high school? And moving on to marriage.
I would say not understanding who I was as a person.
Okay.
Thinking that if this person did this with me, they liked me.
Explain that part. If this person did.
I had low self-esteem.
Okay.
In high school. I know people that went to high school with me would probably think that's crazy. Or even in college would think that was crazy. I had very low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And I would equate this attention or this use, I guess you could say, of me, of having sex with people or messing around or, fooling around, not even necessarily sometimes having sex in high school, to make me feel better, to boost my self-esteem up. And it never did.
Okay.
In high school. And so and I think the way the enemy works, once he can get his claw in you in a certain area, it's almost like he keeps digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And so as you get older, instead of dealing with the root cause of that, which at the time I never did, it just kept spiraling.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, how long had y'all been married, Seymond, before you started cheating?
I know I was working at the mall. And if I was working at the mall. Oh, you so right. You so right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then it was, let's see.
And if you can scoot back a little bit for me, Sarah, so we can see your pretty face.
Maybe a year.
Okay, maybe a year.
Maybe a year into marriage.
Okay, a year into marriage. And I'm coming to your question, Elisa. I think that's a great question. Also, Ronnie said, thank you guys for your transparency. So you've been married for a year, Seymond. Mm-hmm. Seymond, you've been doing good. You didn't cheat in high school. What was why?
I'm gonna be honest. Growing up, I was fed the American dream. If you go to school, work hard, make good grades, get a good job, marry, the woman you love, this white picket fence with 2.5 kids. And, that's how life is supposed to turn out. And I got married, and year one was nothing like that dream that I had in my head. And so, I'm going to different people, guys that are older than me, older men, like, hey, I got this situation going on. How do I, navigate? Oh, young Perry, just stay prayed up.
Young Perry. Uh-huh.
But I am praying, and I still want to go do things that's not available right now for whatever reason. Some were legitimate reasons, some not. not even a legitimate reason to go cheat, but I would never point the finger at her and say that it was her fault. My reasons for cheating was you're searching for someone to fulfill something in you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that something probably should, well, ain't no problem. Most of those should be fulfilled with your wife. Some of them your spouse can't fulfill at all.
Okay.
And you and God just need to have a real conversation that, like she talked about, dealing with root issues. So some of that only you and God can fix, but you don't know that right now. And then other things are like, man, my wife isn't able to meet these needs right now. And I'm frustrated. I'm young. I'm getting all kinds of attention elsewhere. And I don't know how to actually fight that off. So I'm going to give in. And I'm believing I'm just going to give in this one time, and that's going to be it.
That's not how it works.
Ever.
Is it safe to say when you talk about the needs that are not getting fulfilled, is it always sexually?
Not always.
It is not always sexually. That's what people like to bring it to, and that is important. Don't get me wrong, that is not important, but that's not the totality of it. Making sure that as a husband, if a husband carries a heavy load, that as a spouse or wife, you help to alleviate some of that load, whatever that may be. And however your spouse would like you to do that, that's between you all. Sometimes that's not sexual. If I work a 14-hour shift in a factory, I may not be looking for sex when I get off work. But it may be, hey, I already got your clothes done, dinner's ready, bath water, those type of things that may alleviate some burden. Hey, I told the kids to come take out the trash so you don't have to do it. But when you come home and you look around and it has to continually be another, I got to keep working. I can't even get peace when I come home. There's no place for me to stop and, recuperate and refresh myself. Then you start to look for some place of peace outside of the home.
But I guess, go ahead. And what else?
And for me, for the longest, the gym was my refuge.
Okay.
And I would work out countless hours.
Countless.
Morning, noon, and night, I would work out.
Hours.
Instead of addressing the issue that you had. And then, you end up meeting someone that understands your situation and they're willing to deal with it. And that becomes your new refuge from what's not being dealt with here at home.
So I feel like you definitely have to have that boldness to speak up and have those difficult conversations with your spouse so that, it doesn't lead to trying to find it from the outside also. But Alicia Elliott, she says, shout out from Houston, Texas. So she has a really good question. She said, why not just have an open relationship? Because people listening to this story, y'all doing all this cheating. Look, y'all like, and Alicia introduced a new term to me because I was like, Alicia, what does that even mean? Something that she put on the other post. But, this is a lot. People are like, okay, Sarah, you doing all this cheating. Simone, you starting to cheat. Why not just have an open relationship?
We tried that.
Really? I'm telling you, we have a part 2, y'all. I'm serious. Tune in next week, y'all, where we have the Perrys.
That lasted, it was very short-lived. And
who even brought that up? Who brought that up?
Sarah. I verbally brought it up.
Yeah, he verbally. Okay. Yeah.
I verbally brought it up. Because at this point, everybody's cheating on everybody and everybody's just hiding. So I brought it up. Like, hey, if we're going to do this, we might as well XYZ. I know that you are wherever you say you was at with some other dude.
Okay.
You came with some lie. I know you with some other dude. And I'm over at some other lady's house.
Okay.
Hey, instead of doing all this lying, how about we just have an open marriage? And she was like, okay.
Okay, so how long did y'all try that?
That didn't work out.
It lasted for about a month. Not
Really?
I don't even think it was a month.
And
Because-
see, I'm just wondering, with you guys having that relationship with Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How?
That was slowly dwindling.
Okay.
Me and Jesus wasn't kicking it tough during these periods at all.
Got you.
There's no way that you can increase in sin and your relationship with Jesus stay deep. It don't work that way. And so what ends up happening is, because God ain't so messed up about your sin. And people, they get messed up about, well, you did this, you did this, you did this. God ain't messed up about that. He died for your sin, whatever it is. So you and your wife, y'all decide y'all want to open marriage. Oh, that's gross and disgusting. But he died for that. So he's not messed up about what it is. It's, are you still pursuing a relationship with me? Yeah, I know you're stuck in this and you having trouble. And that's something I can say I learned through all of this. That regardless of how jacked up I may be at any time, I can always go to God. And one of my favorite scriptures, one of my friends' favorite scriptures is, there is therefore now no condemnation to them who are in Christ Jesus. If I am saved, there is nothing I can do to separate me from the love of God. So yes, I just crawled out of this other woman's bed and I'm headed home. God, I don't want to do this. I want to be delivered from this. Help me. God can work with that, opposed to, I'm just going to stop talking to God altogether. I'm not going to read the Bible. I'm not really coming to church.
I mean, we
were going, but we weren't listening to no preaching.
We weren't. Nobody was listening. But I won't say that. That's not all the way true either. Because like people would see us, we sing on the praise team. People would see us up there every Sunday. And probably every other Sunday, we were both up just bawling, crying. And most people think, oh, they just worshiping. I'm like, no. I am just like, God help me. I don't want to be like this. I remember one Sunday, I was at the altar during altar call. I was crying so hard, I was beating on the stage.
The stairs.
Because I was just so achy. I guess you call it a spiritual ache. I was just like I was sick, like I could vomit. Because I just was like, life cannot be like this. Sin cannot just dwell in me like this. Like I was sick. But to go back to answer the young lady's question, it did not work because, no offense, and this is what happened. He would tell me, I'm going here with this, and he was specific. The one time I decided to go do something, he wigged out. And that's because I see people say this, men can dish it, but they can't take it.
Yeah.
It's different when you're hiding it and sneaking around.
It is different.
But when it's in your face.
That is different.
Okay.
And I can agree with that. Like, I don't care who you are, people are possessive. And so I can think you're messing around, but for you to just come tell me that that's what you're messing with, they hit different.
He lost it.
And so it is. You're like, I don't know.
He was like, I don't want to do this no more. And I was like, wait a minute.
Stop now. Now that I'm trying to go out here and do it.
And then we separated.
Oh, y'all separated.
Like that happened at December of 2012. And then January of 2013, we separated.
Man.
How long were y'all separated for?
Almost 11 months.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So who did y'all have a house or an apartment together?
House. The same house we've had for 17 years.
So who lived somewhere else then?
I live somewhere else.
Where'd you go? Where did you go?
Out here in these streets.
It's mommy and daddy house.
Wow. So okay. So
I remember that Martinique. I remember that day like it was yesterday. He was working at Sears. I started walking to because we agreed to stop cheating.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah. We agreed. Yeah, we had agreed because the open thing wasn't working.
Okay.
And so I caught him that bad. I mean, I'm not dumb. And so I remember I walked back to his offices into Sears, and I had people like, "Ma'am, you can't go back there." I was like, pfft. I kept walking. I walked all the way to the back, left our baby in the car. I remember this. I took off my wedding ring, put it on his desk, and said, "I'm about to go to the country with my friend Drea. When I get back, all your stuff better be out." And I walked out. He chased me to the car. You don't remember this? I remember.
I don't remember that. That's not
You blocked it out.
It's not. It did happen. I'm gonna say it did happen.
And so when I came back,
Uh-huh.
his stuff was gone. And then I cried.
Oh, because it's like you say it, but I mean, I didn't think you was really
I
going
want
to
you
move
to
your
fight.
stuff.
And for me, it was like, all right.
And so, yeah.
So,
God had a true opportunity to fix us then,
But we didn't.
but we
That-
didn't.
That is another good one. Because I would tell anybody, if you separate and y'all decide to get back together, please go through counseling. Then intense counseling. Don't just get back together. We happy in love, and the issues haven't been
resolve.
yeah, because we were so happy back together, we're in love. The issues were never fixed, so we ended up repeating the same cycles all over again, even after that.
Okay. So Michelle Stevens says, shout out to Michelle. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the truth. If you guys are just now tuning in, you're watching Relationship Talk with Martinique. We have Mr. and Mrs. Perry here on the show. They're talking about forgiveness after infidelity. If you are a Christian, single, or you are in a relationship, you're a couple. If you're interested in being in the show, go ahead and go to that description box, and right there where all of those stars are, fill out that form, and then I will definitely look at your responses and see if you are able to be on the show as well. Go ahead and also share this video now so that more people will know about the Perry's testimony, because this is definitely a testimony in how God has restoration for all of us, and that he can definitely forgive us of our sins. Also, if you're interested in following Seymond more, he actually have a Facebook page called The Master's Rabbi. As you can see, Seymond is very open and honest. Like I said, like he was saying at the beginning of the show, a lot of people walk through life, they're living in sin, but nobody is really telling each other how they're being delivered, what practical steps they're actually taking in order to be delivered from this sin as well. So one of the questions that I really got a lot of people asking was, have you guys forgiven each other? And we'll start with you, Seymond.
With me?
Yeah.
Yes, I've forgiven Sarah for all of her sins. No, all jokes aside, you have to get to a point, and just reality, you have to get to a point where this is not about Sarah. And it sounds cruel. I'm married to Sarah, but how I treat Sarah or my forgiveness towards her has very little to do with her. It has everything to do with God holds me accountable.
Okay.
And oftentimes you cheat. I know Sarah said, I've said it. You cheat because you're so focused on what this person is doing.
Mm-hmm.
You broke my heart. You hurt me. Okay, well, take that to God and do what he says do. Not because if I retaliate, it's not going to be right. Whatever. I mean, I cheat on you, but me breaking all the furniture in the house, that ain't the right move either. So you have to take your eyes off of this person, off of your spouse, and put them on God.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, then he makes it possible for you to forgive that person. And you have to make the choice, and then he starts working with you.
That's the key word.
On to how to practically walk it out. I'll say it again. You have to make the choice, because so many people will say, I can't do it. And God can't override your will. And because he can't override your will, you say you can't do it, so you can't do it. But if you'll say, God, your word says I can forgive them, I choose to forgive them. Now, how I feel is something totally different.
Right.
I still get mad when I look at them, but I choose to forgive them. And now God can start, hey, read this scripture. Hey, I'm going to minister to you this way, this way, this way, to start to work that out of you.
Sarah, what's your thoughts?
So,
have you forgiven me?
Yeah, kind of. So for the most part, my forgiveness, my pastor he teaches in series, right? Shout out to Pastor Robertson. And when we were separated, he taught a series on forgiveness. And I was just visiting at the time. And every Sunday, he kept talking about the same topic. And I was like, I'm not coming back to this church. He won't get up off the thing that's bothering me. So I remember the last Sunday, it was the first Sunday in June of 2013. And I remember calling Perry after church and saying, I forgive you. Now, how I walked that thing out after that, it was a bunch of ups and downs because eventually the cheating infidelity came back because that was during while we were separated. So we got back together, some infidelity came back. But I honestly could say when I called him, I truly meant it, but I didn't know how to walk, like he said, walk it out. And so now, all these years later, 5 years later, I call it, we've been infidelity free for at least 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. It'll be 5 years this summer.
Shout out to that. Woo. Praise Jesus.
I wish they had chips for that. Like for AA, I need a chip.
It's so fun. We can give you a chip, girl.
I have to choose. It's like a daily thing. Like, the Bible says, pick up your cross daily and follow him. I have to make each day be like, I'm not going to kill him. And bring him into the house.
Why don't you just leave me?
Till death.
Just leave. You're dead to me. Just leave.
Yeah.
No, but for real though, I have to make a choice because stuff will happen. Phones will ding in the middle of the night, and it could just be an email, right? A regular a Facebook notification. I know he has the Master's Rabbi page. And stuff just be dinging, 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 and the enemy be like, see, there he go cheating, and I'm like, no, I trust you, God. I have to trust God. Something.
That's another one.
Shout out to Kay and Aaron Spencer. They counseled us. And something that I remember them telling us that I have to trust God more than I trust him.
Oh, that's hard. I'd be like, because Jesus wouldn't cheat on me.
And so I have to, like he said, not focus on him, which is hard because you live with them, you sleep next to them, they breathing on you. Like, it's hard. And I won't say that that's easy. It's not. It is not easy to say, I forgive you for hurting me. I forgive myself for hurting you. It's hard. It's not easy.
I forgive myself for hurting you.
Now, I'm glad that you brought that up, Sarah. I forgive myself. Sarah, and this question is also going to come to you, Seymond. How long did it take you to forgive yourself?
That's tough.
I still struggle with it.
And why do you think that is?
Because of the ramifications that come with infidelity and cheating, and you're reminded of it, especially when people decide to cheat locally. You're reminded of it. I could be in Walmart. There they go.
Wow, you would see them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would die.
So,
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
No.
I'd be like, because what if it's one of Symond's friends? Or somebody Seymond knows, or vice versa?
It was more so vice versa.
She's still here. She didn't die.
I said I would. I didn't say Sarah would die.
That part was not easy, but something that I had to remember, even though if I knew the person, I had to remember that the same God that forgave me, I had to forgive them too. That was very hard. That was hard too. But I had to remember, I can't, like, when you're angry and hold on and hold on and hold on, because I used to do that all the time. Hold on. And then you just explode. And then it's just bad. When you can just take your time, walk through it with God, and let him put the pieces back together versus you trying to put the pieces back together, because you're going to rush to try to put those pieces back together.
Mhm.
Like, I'm honest, like I know I still struggle with forgiving myself. I don't know if I'd have to take a heart check to see if I don't believe that I still struggle with just forgiving him in general. Stop looking at me like that.
Mhm.
Because I've seen the growth in myself in certain things that he may say or do, or things that'll happen that will remind me of the past, and I have to immediately go, I cast that down. No, that's not what that is. So.
Mhm. What about you, Seymond? How long did it take for you to forgive yourself?
That's tough because I'm my hardest critic.
Mm.
And I'm very hard on myself and almost expect perfection from myself in a lot of areas. And so it's taken me some time, not just in that area, but just in general, to say, hey, you are not the real life Superman. You cannot do it all.
Mhm.
You mess up like everybody else. That same grace and mercy everybody else needs, you need too. Like me forgiving her was probably easier than forgiving myself. Like, I'm the leader, I'm the head. How could you let this happen?
Mhm.
How can you fix it? How can you make it right? And it's like, there's nothing you can do to fix it. There's nothing you can do to make it right. You messed up. Now let God fix it. And so and I think a lot of leaders are probably that way
Mhm.
because they're in charge, they're responsible.
Mm.
So you question, well, where did I get off? How did I let this happen? And so that I'm better today in that area. I think it was easier forgiving Sarah than it was forgiving myself.
Mhm.
Um, but today is much better than it was yesterday.
That's good. So now, when you did suspect Sarah cheating in the beginning, what did it look like for you? Did you begin blaming yourself? Like, okay, maybe I'm not attractive enough. Maybe I need to do X, Y,
No,
and
definitely
Z.
wasn't. It wasn't that. It was never not attractive enough.
Okay.
It was never that.
We are not at a loss of confidence.
Never that.
No, and I'm
So
it wasn't that either.
Initially, you do ask yourself,
right.
and eventually you get around to asking the other person, maybe not directly, but you do ask them in roundabout ways. Hey, is there anything I can do? That's one of my favorites. Is there anything I can do to help make our relationship better? What can I work on to help our marriage be better?
Yeah.
Now, I think it's difficult sometimes because if you're asking the person who's cheating and they're in a fleshly state of mind, the answer they give you is going to be a carnal answer. And so you will go off trying to fix what they just said, but it wasn't a spiritual answer. And so now you're trying to fight a spiritual issue with a carnal response. And so I think lots of times that was the mistake we both made lots of times. That I know if I do this, that'll make them happy and the marriage will be better.
Yeah.
They were happy for a day or two.
Right.
But it did not really solve the deep spiritual problem that there was. Something that we fell off recently. But praying together and then asking those types of questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Seeking God yourself. Now, that's something I ended up eventually having to do on my own. I would ask Sarah questions. Hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? what's going on with you. I know something's not right. And it's not even just dealing with infidelity. It's just she comes home in a bad mood for a week straight. What's going on?
Yeah.
She can't tell me or won't tell me. I just go talk to God. God, you put me in charge of her. What is going on with her? And show me how to help her in that. And if God wants you to succeed in marriage, then he will talk to you about what's going on with your spouse.
Very true. I definitely have something I tell people that are about to get married, been married, still married, is as the wife, we're responsible for praying for our husbands, for covering them. And in those moments in covering, best times when they're asleep, at least for me. And I just lay my hand on his head and just pray. And a lot of times God will show me things that way, what he's dealing with, even if he hasn't told me. And when I have concerns about things, learning how to use graceful words, not beating him up, beating him down. And sometimes not even saying a word and just going to God and be like, okay, God, he is making me mad all the time. Yeah. What do I need to do? I need you to talk to him.
Yeah, that's good, Sarah.
Kid you not, I kid, and it's happened so many times, and I probably will have like the little most wonderful smirk on my face. You know, I should do such. That's great. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
But when you're doing things you're not supposed to do,
it clouds all of that.
It clouds all of that.
I'm not supposed to pray that my wife become a better wife, like God, you want her to be. If I'm out here doing what I ain't got no business doing, I'm gonna pray. My prayers then were, God, you need to help her be a better wife. She need to be in there cooking, cleaning, and having sex with me 3-4 times a week. And she needs to stop this and start doing this. Not, God, can you show me her heart so I can see where she's broken, so I can help fix that area. God, can you give me your love for her so that when I look at her, I love her like Christ loves me? Can you give me that? And that helps to turn the corner for a lot of issues.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Sarah, let me start with you with this question. I know that you guys went through counseling. What year of the marriage did you guys start doing the counseling?
We did it before we got married.
Yeah, I know you did. I know you did premarital counseling, but after the infidelity, and then you gave a shout out to the leaders that counseled you.
Yeah,
but
Aaron
what year?
Shout out to them. They started. It was 20.
Was that right after you had Sarai?
19.
No, that had to have been before. Was that after?
They counseled us for a long time.
I know.
Long.
I think that was
all that stuff happened.
I think that was
summer of 18. We did that, and then I got pregnant, and
that was right after Sarai.
After Sarai.
Yeah.
Okay. So they started counseling us in 2019 and stopped when we couldn't be around people during COVID. That's when it stopped. So
y'all was married for 14 years. Wait.
Yeah,
13.
Yeah, we are 13 years of infidelity, off and on.
Okay.
We counted.
Yeah. What was, Sarah, first question to you? What was the most difficult part about counseling?
When Aaron told us we had to confess everything we had ever done.
To your spouse.
Yes, get all the skeletons out, because when there's no more lying and there's no more deceit, there's nothing hidden anymore, and you're just exposed. The enemy doesn't have anything to play with.
Yeah, that
was the hardest.
Yeah. That's a good phrase you said. The devil doesn't have anything else to play with.
It did, but it was.
That was tough because you've been lying for so long. And so this took days, weeks sometimes. Yeah, we started on one weekend and cried. And then later on, 2 days later, hey, I thought of something else I need to tell you.
And that was hard.
And then a week later, hey, I thought of something else I do need to tell you. But once it
But
was,
don't you get mad again?
yes, you
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Yes, you
yeah.
do.
That's too much of an emotional roller coaster.
It that people may think I thought he was crazy for telling us to do that. I'll never forget. We were sitting in Chili's, and he looked us.
I was done
He
then.
and when he said that, I was like, me tell what I did, please.
Simone, what about you, Simone? What was the most difficult part about counseling?
That was it. That was the most difficult part, was the being honest about everything. But there's some stuff I forgot I even did. So I'm definitely not trying to tell you, like, you already know I've been cheating on you. Let's leave it at that. That's good enough.
Right.
I can definitely say there were some things we told each other that if people probably knew, they would think we were stone cold crazy for still being together.
Mm-hmm.
But in all, like, I don't know, like, I'm very empathetic towards people, and even just I just am,
Mm-hmm.
and the Holy Spirit just would not let me be angry at other people.
That's a biggie.
I wanted to be angry. I felt like I have the right to be angry. I have the right to go out and slash tires and egg people's car. I have the right.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And that was hard because I felt like I had the right. Everybody feels like they have the right because you've been hurt. But I had to take that hurt to God because it could have drove me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it hurt down to my bones. Like, I threw up. It was bad. But after the sun started to come up,
after we started getting everything out and there wasn't no more new stuff that needed to be said for a while, then it was, I can look at you differently now.
Right.
Because I know you're not hiding anything.
Correct.
Else. Where before you're always looking like you're hiding something else.
Mm-hmm.
You're still lying about something. But now that I've told you everything, now you can make an honest decision. Do you still want to be with me or not?
Right.
But sometimes people make that decision to stay, and it's still based off a lie because I don't know everything.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, Seymond, how do you create healthy boundaries while still allowing yourself to trust your partner to have their autonomy?
That took time. That took a lot of time. For the longest, we didn't go anywhere, do anything without being around each other for a long time.
That was intentional?
Intentional, yes.
Those were the boundaries we set.
We set, and it's about what those two people set. If every time you walked out the house, I didn't know whether you was going to get a quickie in or not, and it don't take but 5 minutes for you to go cheat and come back home, then I can't trust you farther than I can see you. So no. Or
I used to travel a lot.
Yeah.
With my friends. I did cheat a lot when I traveled with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So
I stopped.
Yeah.
Traveling with my friends. I tell don't ask me because I can't go.
A lot of mine was set up around I'm going to the gym. I would work out for like 3 hours, but then I'd make detours around that time too.
It took let's see.
So
it took about 2 years. It took about 2 years to start going back to the gym.
So where were you working out then?
I didn't work out at all.
Okay.
I focused that energy towards making my marriage better.
That's good.
So if I'm working out 3 days a week, 4 days a week, and 3 hours, 3 or 4 days a week, if I use all of that time and energy, my marriage can be better. And then over the course of time, as things progress, it's, hey, do you mind if I do this? Right. If you're uncomfortable, I still won't do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you okay with me doing this? Hey, I want to go here. I'm going to take this person with me that you trust.
Right.
They're going to be with me. And when I get there, I'm going to call you. If you need to FaceTime me.
He did a lot of that. a lot of that. And I didn't even necessarily ask him to, but he would video call me when he would get where he was going. He would video call me in the car, a lot of that. And it helped a lot for me.
Because I want you to see that I am trying to make this better.
And like for me, like I said, I stopped traveling, going out with my friends. I just stayed at home where I probably should have been. Like some of my other friends tell me, Sarah, you on the go a lot. You probably should stay at home. And you're like, yeah, whatever. And I had some of my closest friends, one in particular, who knew two in particular, two of them, that one of them, she stopped talking to me. Because she was like, from a spiritual standpoint, she was like, when you decide to quit acting like this, we can be cool. That's long story short. And then the other one, who was my roommate from college, she went off on me.
Yeah.
She went off. Every excuse I gave her as to why I was doing it, she was like, it don't matter. And I thank God for friends like that. None of my friends ever just was like, Sarah, you're right in this. They would be like, I mean, you shouldn't do it, but some of them would say, but I understand why, or that's between you and God. But none of my friends ever just outright said, you should keep doing this. This is right. And then some of my friends, I stopped telling what I was doing, and my circle got real small, who I even talked to about it when I was doing stuff I wasn't supposed to do, because I knew what they were going to say, and then because you don't want to hear it.
So since this was 13 years of infidelity in your marriage, do you have to continually be in counseling?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some shape, form, or fashion. Because now the counseling is less about marriage and more about individual issues that led you to being a habitual cheater.
Okay.
Because there were things that were there as to why you did what you did. But now it's time for you to start uncovering those things. Like me, my therapist was like, hey, tell me about your home life growing up. I was like, that was good. And come to find out, like, you're the fourth of 5 children, old school parents. We don't hug, we don't kiss, we don't say I love you. But as a child, I wanted that. And when I came home and my wife wouldn't give me that, I started looking for someone else to give it. And now it's a habit that you've built of anytime your wife won't give this to you, you look elsewhere for it. But all that stemmed from you going to counseling. And many of us as a culture refuse to go to therapy and counseling to break those generational cycles and curses that, hey, now I'm going to hug on my kids and kiss on my kids and let them know how much I love them, so they don't have to go look for somebody else to do it. Or feel like, like she said, if I do this, then that means they really like me. So they will know what real love looks and feels like and sounds like.
So I know that you said that you guys are doing individual counseling. Are you still doing couples counseling, like maybe once every 3 months?
So y'all don't judge me. I kind of gave him an ultimatum, which is really not a good thing to do in marriage. So don't take my advice. But I told him that I would not go back to marriage counseling until he started individual, because that's something that
you don't think that's good? That's a good motivator.
It's the way I probably came about it, because I was just like, I ain't going. And was the couple that counseled us, she told us, y'all both need individual counseling back in 2019. She told us that. And I agreed wholeheartedly, but I know we still need it together. And as he just started, I started in 2020. And that's been an up and down coaster because of the things we've been through with Sarah, being in the hospital with her, losing her twin, coming out, losing Dontre. So it's been like we've been all over the place when it comes to me
Mhm.
and working on the root causes of why I do what I do.
Mhm.
I remember always being told by our therapist that my boisterous personality was really a facade, and that was very hard for me to accept, because that's how everybody knew me in college, in high school. They knew me to be this loud, just aggressive person, and
Yeah.
that I was covering up from hurt and my own personal internal issues. And as I have start unveiling those things about myself, she tells me I've calmed down a lot. I think I've calmed down a whole lot. But those are some of the things that um, I could always say help fuel some of the infidelity. So like being in an organization, and I know this is going to sound really bad, but some people can understand so being in a sorority, you know, you go and you do things, and there's men all the time hugging, yeah. And I was always the loud, boisterous person, so somebody was always in my face.
Mhm.
And instead of just being like they're giving you this attention, you eat it up. You do. So part of my boisterousness, I think, sometimes fueled my infidelity.
So I'm gonna start with you, Sarah. What does your boundary now look like when somebody shows you attention? How do you handle that? Because that's like both of y'all's weak point. Like once they showed that attention, then y'all like, oh, okay, I'm coming.
Enemy knows how to do it, how to send it, wrap it up in a pretty nice little bow. You have to make a choice. I don't care how nice looking you think they are, how good you think they smell, because people be putting on too much cologne and you can smell them 10 miles away. But I know, like, for example, Friday, when I was at Walmart getting my oil changed and my tires looked at, I walk in the break room and this man was like, "You sure is pretty."
Good old Pine Bluff. Okay.
And I just kind of nodded, and he just kept going on and on, and I just ignored it.
Okay.
Or I remember there was a time I'm at Walmart again, getting gas, and this man was like, my tire was low. This was
darn tire. I need you to avoid Walmart, and I need you to just go tireless.
And this man, he was like, "You must not have a good husband for your tire to be low." I was like, "Whoa, the audacity." Or I've had men say something to me regarding like something dealing with my car, and saying, and trying to damn my husband, saying, "Oh, because I need air in my tire, I don't have a good husband." And I remember 10 years ago, I would have fed into that. You sure right. My husband sure ain't right. He should make sure I got air in my tires. And maybe he's busy, and so I can just go put air in my tire, and that's okay. That has nothing to do with that. But I remember being in a place where that would have sucked me right on in. I'd be like, "You sure right? What's your number?"
Okay. So now something clicks and tells you, okay, Sarah, stop. Go ahead about your business.
You smile and wave.
Okay.
Just keep on walking.
So now what about you, Seymond? Like, what is that personal? Go ahead.
From your past come trickling back in.
I was going to ask y'all about that. Don't talk about that part yet, okay, Sarah. What about you, Seymond? What does your personal boundary look like when a female shows you attention?
He be grinning from ear to ear.
I'm glad you asked this question.
Okay.
I have set up systems in my life to keep myself accountable. People expect me to be in a certain place at a certain time. I keep certain people with me at certain times to hold me accountable. Females may grin and wave at you at the gym, but if they see your son there working out with you, they're probably not going to approach.
Okay.
Because your son is there. So most of the time, my son is with me all the time. that keeps a certain distance between me and you. Even if let's not lie to people and tell them, yeah, some days come up and I want to still go cheat. Some days you on my last nerve, you ain't giving me what I want. And yes, I remember what it was like, and I still want to go after it.
What stops you?
I've made a choice not to now.
So you constantly have to remind yourself, Seymond,
Yes.
you've made a choice not to.
Yes, I have to almost daily. No, you can't do this. And
Okay,
then
can I ask you something? Because I get urges to eat things. And I'm like, Martinique, you stop, you need to stop. But I just do it anyway.
Yeah.
How do you fight that urge?
Well, see, the difference is the urge of me overeating cookies is a different consequence to me cheating on my wife.
So you focus on that consequence also.
And the consequences are so far reaching. I have a son who's watching me who could become just like how I was. I have a daughter. Do I want her treated the way I treated her? No. And then let's not even talk about other people watching you and your testimony, all that other stuff. So because of that, then I do things. I have a friend. He's gonna call me. Hey, how you doing? How the marriage doing? Be real.
Okay.
Hey, do we need to get together? And so between all of that, Sarah knows that at this time, on this day, I should be in this place.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a person that breaks habits very easily.
Mm-hmm.
So he should be walking out of the house by 8 o'clock in the morning. If he's not, what's going on? Why are you still at the house? Because you get to work on time.
He is a creature of habit.
If I call your job at 1:30 and you're not at work, where are you then? Because you didn't tell me you wasn't going to work today. So all of those things are like red flags that you're doing something you ain't got no business doing. And so I want my wife to know my every move. If my wife can't know my every move, what's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying to hide?
But Seymond, how did you get to that point? Because a lot of times people could say, I'm an adult. I don't have to let her know everything that I've done. I've been through this counseling. I've told her everything that I've done.
No.
I'm not going to let them know my every single move. I'm an adult. I don't have to.
This isn't something that Sarah asked me to do. This is something, if you go to God and say, God, I don't want to cheat on my wife anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Help me. Show me what I need to do so that I don't mess up again. Well, son, this is what you need to do. You need to make sure she knows everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if she knows everything about you, then there can be no wiggle room. If you do something you shouldn't do, it's going to pique something in her. Hey, why did you do that?
And I'll ask.
Yeah.
Like I'll ask, hey, or usually I'll say, hey, when you did this, it made me uncomfortable. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
Being honest. That was something else our counselors told us. Y'all aren't being honest. Y'all aren't telling the truth. Ooh, if I ain't never heard that phrase, I heard it enough with them. And
how did they know?
Because they know the Lord and he talks to them. They know the Lord and he talks through them.
And boy, will they'll read you like a book.
So that's
what's the names again? What's their names again?
Aaron and Kay Spencer.
Shout out to Karen and
do they do virtual counseling?
Yes, they do.
Regardless of what state?
I believe so.
Look, they're on Facebook.
We're going to get that information later, y'all, and we're going to put them in the comment section. But answer me this, Seymond, why Sarah is doing that. So Michelle asked a question, Michelle Stevens. She said, how were the children affected?
That's crazy. Ooh. Because while we were at our worst, the kids were wigging out, especially our oldest son. And like they couldn't explain why they wigging out and acting crazy in school and defiant towards her because dad's not at home.
Mhm.
They just want their dad. They don't know why he's not around. And they're being defiant and giving her hell because dad's not around.
Mhm.
And anytime we decided we want to live in sin, the kids would be attacked.
Mhm.
And they would start doing dumb stuff, or somebody would be in the hospital, or something crazy would end up happening. And so now, when Sarai goes to the hospital, that's like almost an immediate thought, like something ain't right. Somebody doing something they ain't got no business doing. And so the enemy attacks in that way so that you can always think somebody ain't doing right.
Right.
And so you're fighting on multiple avenues just to keep your
Yeah.
marriage together.
But how do y'all not blame yourself? Because I would think, okay, just using your analogy, if you were seeing that, okay, somebody's always in the hospital because I'm doing X, Y, and Z. What if you are no longer, you doing good, you ain't cheating on nobody, one of your kids is in the hospital, are you automatically gonna blame that spouse because you're not doing nothing?
No.
So like for me, when it came to the kids and our infidelity, when we were separated is when I first saw how it was affecting them. Our oldest son, I'll never forget, he was in his room wigging out and he started like hitting his head. Like I could not get him to calm down. He started hitting his head against the wall. And I called him. I was like, hey, you got to come here now.
Mhm.
Like something is not right. And he came and he walked around the side of the house and watched from the window and came in, and we decided then to go get him mental health help and found out he had some issues and some challenges. But of course you blame yourself as a mother. Like, how did you miss the signs? Teachers at school were saying he had these, had some issues. Like, why didn't you go get him help sooner? I went through that. And so knowing, I remember studying about how the enemy works or being taught about how the enemy works. He's very strategic. He finds your weakest spot or the weakest link. And if he can attack your kids, that's what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so not understanding that until umpteen years later, like years later, and not knowing how to fight back then.
Yeah, and that's something that the church fails to teach people. They teach you that you're a couple, you're married, y'all be faithful to each other, but they don't teach you how to spiritually fight together, how to recite scriptures, memorize the word of God, how to pray in the Holy Ghost, how to fast. They don't teach you how to spiritually fight to keep your family together. They just say you're married, go to work, don't cheat, pay bills, y'all speak each other's love language, and you should be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't teach you the actual practical, everyday, real deal. I hate you and I can't stand you, but I am supposed to go pray for you. And I'm supposed to pray for us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like you right now, but I know we in a funky spot and I'm in Walmart. It will put a smile on your face if I brought you some flowers. And even though I still can't stand your gut, I'm gonna bring you these flowers because I'm still fighting for my marriage.
That's good. So you said in order to spiritually fight, we need to fast, we need to pray with each other.
Vigilant.
Your
head gotta be on a swivel because it's coming. Like a lot of people sometimes think being a Christian that your life is gonna be easy peasy, beautiful cover girl.
No.
And it's like the more God tried at different times to elevate us, and because we were so spiritually immature, and I don't necessarily blame anybody but ourselves, because a lot of times you can be taught till you blue in the face, but until you actually put the things you've been taught into place, like truly in your life, you're gonna keep you just gonna keep doing it. And I know for me, like, just trying to understand spiritual warfare and how some things are spiritual warfare and then some things are self-warfare. Things you, because of things
Correct.
you did, you brought this on yourself.
Correct.
The devil didn't make me eat all that stuff and gain all that weight. He didn't do it, I did that. So that you see what I'm saying? So trying to understand and navigate that. And I think as a whole, as a church as a whole, you have different ministries that are teaching their members how to fight the correct way. But at the church as a whole struggles with that. Because I think of, and I know this is totally off topic, but it reminds me of this, like when the pandemic first happened, I kept asking Perry, why are the believers cowering down like this? Like, where is our power? Where is our voice? He said, like, I was just so confused. And why everybody was just like, the world is coming to an end.
Okay.
Because of the pandemic. And I'm like, Psalms 91, like, come on now. Like, what it's like we got to the, like, we're the soldiers, you know, on the battlefield fighting for the Lord. And then when the actual battle for real came,
Yeah.
ran opposite direction.
Retreat.
Retreat. And so it's the same thing in marriage. Like, I'll tell anybody, it's like you got to, like, sluggish in the mud, like just keep moving forward, because if you don't, you're gonna start sinking and sinking and sinking.
Let me ask you this, Seymond, and Sarah, this is going to come to you also. What made you want to stay in the marriage instead of being with one of the individuals that you cheated with?
First of all,
At 9:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
First of all, it is difficult. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't care what fairy tale or fantasy you're living in. It is difficult to say I'm going to be in a relationship with you, knowing that you cheated with me. So how could I actually ever trust you, knowing that you cheated with me? So you could possibly do that with somebody else with me. So, yeah, that's just the reality. And I'm not saying that there aren't success stories, and I'm not saying that it can't happen.
Yeah.
But that is something that runs to the back of your head. But me and God came to this epiphany of, oh God, if I was just taking care in this area and I was doing right, I could be happy. And it's like, well, why don't you just go home and just do that with her? Like, why start over? Just go do all that stuff you said you do that was right. Just go do it with her. Okay. So there is another scripture. It talks about if you all are unfaithful to each other, you have a grounds for divorce. But then when you come over to the New Testament, it's like, but I would rather God get glory out of your life and you work it out. So yeah, you got a grounds for divorce. You have every right to divorce. But my whole life, my whole existence is to bring God glory. That's why I'm here. And yeah, God didn't want me and my wife messing around. But since we did, how can he get glory out of this? By y'all staying together, by y'all working through all of these issues. Because if you got a divorce and got with somebody else, them same issues are still there. It's just this is a new person and they haven't hurt you like this person did. But what better way to show that God's love is real for you to stay with somebody that has hurt you?
Yeah, that's so good.
Those are the things that kept me like, okay, just keep working it out. Keep working it out.
What about you, Sarah?
My carnal answer was, I used to tell him, till death, and you ain't dead.
Yeah.
I've shared this with people, people that have heard my testimony personally. I've shared this with around 2013 or 14, it was somewhere around there. God gave me a vision. It was so clear of me and my husband working together in ministry. Then when I saw it, at that time of my life, I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit with him. I don't want to go nowhere with him and talk with him. Like this right here, I don't want to do that. I have to expose myself.
Yeah.
when God gave me that vision, that was also part of, I was running, kind of like Jonah. Definitely like Jonah.
Mhm.
Like, hey, I need you to go over here. No, I'm gonna go this way.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do it. And God would always bring that back to my remembrance. Also, and I know people, I'll tell people love does not pay the bills. Love is not enough. But I do love him.
Yeah, but love ain't enough.
What's
It's
enough
not
then?
God is enough.
God is enough.
But love
Okay.
ain't enough.
Love ain't
I
enough.
can love you all day. Like if we got a divorce right now, I still love Sarah. I've been loving her since we was in high school. My love for her has only grown more and more. But if I get strung out on crack and start beating on her, guess what? Love ain't gonna be enough. She gonna leave me. If I start cheating on her again, she's gonna be like, hey, buddy, you got to move. Because love ain't enough. I need God to be the center of everything.
God has to
Mhm.
be this man.
Yeah.
So
Because
Sarah,
sometimes she's doing stuff and she ain't focused on God.
yeah.
And so me saying God has to be enough for me until she comes back around.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Sarah, are you saying because of the ministry guy put in your heart, that's what kept you in the marriage as opposed to running off with one of the guys?
Oh, I don't want to say that. Okay.
You wasn't getting them.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna get with none of them. No way. There was, in all transparency, I would always say, I'm not leaving my husband.
That's
So
what
I
you
don't
would
know.
say to the guys?
Yeah. I wasn't going nowhere. No shade, no tea, like no disrespect, no none of that. I wasn't leaving.
Okay. So Sarah, has any of the guys that you cheated with, have they ever tried to like seduce you and come back into your life?
Not seduce or anything. I've had people like, hey, we can be friends, and I'm oh.
Is it like for real? Yes, we can, or no, no, we can't.
Oh no. That was another boundary we had to set, was the level of like certain people were like, no, you can't talk to them no more.
Yeah.
Or I would prefer you not to talk to them no more.
Okay.
I'm not saying like if you see them in the store to be a butt, just be like, roll your eyes and keep walking. Like, I'm not saying be like that.
Okay.
But like, y'all can't, you can't talk to them how you used to. Even in a
in a joking way.
Yeah.
Because that just leads to other stuff.
That was part of the boundary thing. Another thing I wanted to say about setting boundaries, we unlocked our phones.
Your phone's still unlocked?
Don't play with me in front of these good people. We keep our phones unlocked. Like that was like, our phones were locked like Fort Knox. So nobody has passwords, because people have asked me, well, what if you lose your phone and people can get your information?
Yeah, they got it.
But that's something we had to do. And what's crazy is since our phone, like, I don't know for him because I be asleep, but since our phones have been just open, I don't have the desire to just go over there and just be like, what do you say? What do you talk to? Because if you go looking, you're going to find something. And it could be something as innocent as he could have been ministering to somebody that commented on a reel from the master's rabbi. And I look at it and go, they was flirting. And he'd be like, they flirting. He cheated on you. And it go all left. All over again. So those are also some boundaries. Like for me, I had to say, I'm not going to go through his phone.
Yeah.
I used to be one of the ones I would preach on Facebook. Yeah, you can go through your husband's phone. Go through it. If he ain't doing nothing wrong. But that violates trust. Yeah. I did. I was one of the ones like, yes, go through it. And
so
I've learned.
Yeah.
That is not, because it does, like it violates trust. It lets them know you don't trust me. Regardless of what I'm doing, you don't trust me.
So Seymond, what about you? Have any of the females that you used to cheat with, have they ever seduced you or like tried to come back into your life or anything like that? Or did you have to switch gyms or anything like that?
I didn't switch gyms. I didn't do that. The crazy thing is, what was I supposed to say? Yes, I'm gonna answer the question first. Yes.
You so country. Woo! I miss me some Arkansas. Boy, I miss it. I miss it.
He is, girl. Real country. Keep talking.
So y'all saying that like it's a good thing?
Yeah.
It's whatever, however you want to take it. It's good.
You're from St. Louis, right?
No, I'm from Ohio. Woo, woo. Shout out to OHIO. Somewhere up there. Yeah.
All right. So yes, they have. Two. Oh, most females want to be pursued.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't pursue, typically they get the message.
Okay.
If you start pursuing, then they will allow you to chase them and catch them. And so, yes, they will present themselves like, hey, here it is. But if you don't chase after, then.
And I've asked a few times, have certain people contacted you? I've asked, especially after our son died, because that is the playground from, I was just reaching out to see how you doing since your son died.
Now I can't say though during that time period, there were people that genuinely did just reach out. How are you? How's your family? Praying. And that was the long and short of it. You can tell when somebody's trying to flip the conversation and go left. But during that time period, it was, could be tricky traversing that time period, especially because your wife's son just died.
And I am losing my brain.
And she's not, and the way, and your son just died.
Mm-hmm.
So what she needs to feel comfort is different from what I need to feel comfort. And nobody wants to provide anybody any comfort because everybody's hurting. Everybody wants to be comforted. And so that was a difficult period to make it through because everybody's in such great pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, and we'll start with you, Sarah. Can you look at Seymond with the same level of respect?
Greater.
I respect him more for being honest with me. He's more honest with me now. Like if I'm doing something or not doing enough of something, now he just tells me. And he's gotten better at not making me feel bad when he requests his needs.
I can't help that you feel bad when I request a need. That's on you.
He's gotten better.
How do I control how you feel?
Because of how you present something.
Well, I can present it with flowers on top of it. You can still get in your.
It's just like
Sarah, we're not gonna argue in front of these nice people on Facebook.
It's just like when just like how I said, not beating you down and not like you don't do this and you don't do that and you don't do like if I have a concern, I either go to God.
That's who you should go.
Or I may come to you and say, hey,
just go to God.
I need your help with such and such and such and such and help Sarah take a bath.
Just go to God.
Please go give her a bath. But
just go to God. He'll tell me.
Yeah. Did I answer your question? You distracted me.
Yeah. You did distract her, Seymond. So what about you, Seymond? Can you still look at Sarah with the same level of respect?
But that's true. Like when you're cheating, you can't respect them. Like you're not looking at that person with the level of respect that you should be while you're cheating.
Now I'm saying after forgiveness, you forgiving each other. Like now, can you still look at Sarah with the same respect that you had for her before you knew she was ever cheating?
I think it's gotten better for me because you could have ran and left.
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever even thought about that question.
Mhm.
Respect me.
See that because the thing is, I don't even know if I equate how I feel towards Sarah with the word respect. Now, do I love her more now than before? Am I willing to give more towards her? I always view that, but respect, I mean, of course I respect her, but I'm not sure if that's a qualifier that I have even thought to.
Yeah.
There's a book.
That's what I'm thinking.
So there's a book we attempted to read.
No, I read.
He read it. We attempted to read together called Love and Respect, and it talks about how men desire respect and women desire love.
Mhm.
And that's how men, the way we desire to be loved and caressed, men don't desire that. They desire respect. And so when you ask that question, that's what made me think of it, made me immediately think about that book, because I'm like, for me to see him still push through and still mount up and still decide to fight for his family, it makes me respect him more, because he could have easily been like, I'm out, you and them kids, good by yourselves, I'm out.
I wouldn't have
Yeah.
left my kid.
But same difference. So that's why I can see why he would look at that question that way.
Mhm.
I can see, based on that book that I
Yeah.
did not finish, I should finish.
So let me ask you something, Sarah. This is going to come to you as well, Seymond. Is there anything that you don't think that you and Seymond can get through after this?
Not just after this. I'm sorry. She did. But not just after this. Because see, and what people don't, a lot of people don't know that this is like only a small portion of our marriage or of any marriage. Like we've been through miscarriages, children in hospital on ventilators, a child in the hospital with a disease and died. One child being, I guess you would call that being stillborn.
He was a fetal demise.
Yeah, and the other one being born, like
super early.
Parents dying, like those are like small portions.
Okay.
Yeah, infidelity is bad. But when we were separated and my dad died, when I looked up, my wife was there.
Mhm.
It's
So
like
y'all still supported each other, even though y'all were separated.
like we may, I still love you.
I dropped everything.
And that's what I
came.
mean.
I was
Like
right over there.
I love you. Right now you're cheating on me and I don't know if we gonna even make it.
Right. Yeah.
But I care about you as a person and I want to see you okay.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
See, that's so hard for me to understand when you say, I love you, I care about you, I want to make sure you're okay, but I'm doing something that hurts you.
That don't mean I have to be with you, and that don't mean that you meet all of my needs. And I just have not grown to the place that I can get my needs met and it be legal or within the confines of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Like me just saying, I'll just go without, or I'll just be upset and frustrated, or I'll go to the gym, or I'll just cry out to God, or I'll read more word, or I'll go to therapy. But there's other methods of me to do that and stay with you than to just cheat on you.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love you, even if I mess up. I mean, if you promised your husband that you would cook dinner tonight and you didn't, does that mean you don't love him?
Mm-hmm.
No, you just didn't cook dinner.
I'm gonna cook the tacos.
Taco Monday. But Sarah, go ahead and answer that question. Is there anything that you don't feel that you and Seymond can get through together?
He about answered that. Like, each time something has happened in our life and in our marriage, even outside of infidelity, I'm like, it can't get no worse than this. God, this is enough. Sign me up. Let somebody else do it. Let somebody else carry the flag. Like it can be overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back to the vision that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I remember our pastor saying to us, boy, He said, I ain't never seen the enemy attack a family as hard as he's attacked yours. And I thought about that way later. And it made me remember like God, the purpose for like this union, like, God, what do you want to come from this? Even though we have messed up, what do you want from this? And the more he's been showing, for me, I can always, it scares me. It does, because I'm like, it's a lot to be in ministry, to be responsible. It's a lot. And even though I know what God wants you to do, it's hard. It's hard. But that, I don't think that there's anything we can not overcome together. Like when he and I are strongly in one accord, we're pretty, just
unstoppable.
Like, we are like, even something as small as singing together on the praise team. Our praise team is small. And so if somebody is out, it's just him and I singing together. And it can be, it's an experience for me. I enjoy ministering with my husband. I enjoy doing it with him. I do. And I know that there's power in that. And I don't want to miss it.
That's good. That's good, Sarah. So now before I ask my last question, I do want to thank our viewers for tuning in and making some great comments. We have a lot of people that's just so thankful of you guys' transparency. Shout out to Monty, shout out to Nastasia, Ireland, Merriweather. I'm so bad with names, y'all. Can I tell y'all that? And my name is Martinique. But shout out to you guys. Also, Ashley Whitestone, who is tuning in with us, Regina Hill, and so many other people. Kimberly, thank you guys so much for your comments and your questions. Make sure you continue to go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about the testimony of Mr. and Mrs. Perry and forgiveness after infidelity. And really just, I know, Monty, I'm so sorry. Whitestone. Wet. I'm horrible. I'm sorry. Wet. Is it wet?
Whetstone.
Whetstone. He put it in all caps. He like, get it right. Get it right. Get it right. My bad. But if you're interested, if you are a Christian single or in a relationship, single, married, you're single but in a relationship, I got it, Monty. Go ahead and fill out that, click on that link that's right under those stars in the description box and go ahead and fill out that form. And then I'll be able to see if you're a great fit for the show or not. Again, if you are interested in following Seymond even more, go ahead and follow his Facebook page called The Masters Rabbi, The Masters '(S) Rabbi. So question for you, Seymond, this is going to also come to you, Sarah. Did this experience help your relationship in any way? If so, how?
This experience on here?
No, sir. Infidelity.
I don't know if it helped. I don't know if it helped. What I can say is my heart now towards people is, and I'm not saying it was bad before, but I have a different spot for people now who are struggling with things, with life in general. Because I know what it's like, even now, to struggle with this thing called life. And that we don't all have it together. We aren't always doing what God told us to do the way he told us to do it. And some of us know what he told us to do. And I'm more compassionate towards those people. Like, it's going to be all right, man. You're going to get it together. Hey, you want something to eat? Let's go sit down and talk. And you may go right back and keep doing what you was doing. It's okay. It may take some time, but you're going to make it. And so I'm a lot more compassionate towards those individuals.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah?
Going through it was probably one of the worst things ever in my life. But now being on you could say the other side of the mountain, trying to help other people not go through that. I will tell another woman, don't do that. That's not, I don't do that. That's not a good choice. I put like people that have said, well, I'm just gonna cheat, because don't do it. I promise you, on everything I love, cheating is not the answer. And I know from experience, it's not. You hurt so many other people along the way. And that's something that I had to ask God to help me with, because like I told you in the beginning, I'm very empathetic, and to think about the lives that I may have damaged along the way, that bothered me for a little while. And you never want to feel like you could have been the hindrance of somebody accepting Christ, or they're looking at you like, hey, she on the praise team, or she this, and she out here in these streets. And so now I want to share, it's embarrassing sometimes, I was nervous before we started. Like, I asked him, was he nervous? He asked me, and I was like, a little bit, because this platform is way bigger than me just talking to people privately about my struggles. Or the few times I have shared on Facebook about infidelity, but didn't go in depth about it. And I just pray that it has helped somebody choose not to, if you were plotting to do it, thinking of doing it, if you were doing it, thinking, hey, I probably should stop, because it can destroy you. It really can. And you don't want that to be.
Definitely. So what is one key advice that you would give somebody that is currently dealing with infidelity in their relationship?
For me, because for me, it always went back to my relationship with God, not her. Like, I could blame her and I could use her as an easy excuse. But the reality is, if I keep my eyes on Christ, he will keep me. But the moment I take my eyes off of Christ,
like Peter,
then I start to sink. And what we typically do is take our eyes off of God. And now my marriage is something that's built to serve me and my wants and my needs and my desires. And not, my marriage is built so that I can serve somebody else. And so my marriage can glorify God. And when you take your focus off of that, now it becomes. So I would be like, go to God and start working on your relationship with him. No, you may not stop cheating tomorrow. And that's not okay. But start the process of, God, I need help. God, I want to come out of this. God will take you to scriptures that will help you to deal with that. And then slowly find someone that will hold you accountable.
Amen.
That's not going to say it's okay. And yeah, you may not want to hear from them, but they'll tell you the truth. You need to stop. And it's gonna put you on blast if you are out there doing wrong.
How would they put you on blast though?
I don't mean like on blast, like on Facebook or social media.
Yeah.
But they're gonna let you know.
Okay.
I know what you're doing and you need to stop. Like, if my friend now, if Aaron saw my car somewhere he knew it shouldn't be, he would call first of all. What are you doing? Where are you? Then he coming to knock on the door. Perry, you need to come out of there.
Okay.
He would do whatever it took to keep me on track. And so finding someone that will hold you accountable and will fight with you as you deal with it.
What about you, Sarah?
I definitely agree with having an accountability partner. I typically would run from those. But that is something that you need, somebody to hold you accountable. Do a heart self-check. dig into the root reason of why you're doing what you're doing anyway, there's always a root cause. Everybody says, oh, people just cheat because they want to. Yeah, but there's usually something from maybe a childhood, early adulthood, teenage years, that something is, I've never met somebody in my personal experience that has dealt with something like this and didn't come out and say, oh, when I was a kid, or oh, when I was in high school, or oh, early adulthood, such and such happened and I was lacking this and I was looking for it everywhere. So do a self-check, a heart check. If you have to start therapy, I would suggest that. Learn to love yourself.
So
he has a devotional.
I got a 7-day devotional titled "How to Really Love
He has a
Yourself."
7-day
If you want to check
devotional.
that out.
But those are some of the things that you should work on. Because just immediately stopping, some people can.
Some people can't.
Because it almost becomes addictive.
Yeah.
And it's not sometimes really the actual doing. It's actually sometimes the thrill of
getting away with it.
Or the thrill of just that it's wrong.
Yeah. And
because when it came out, I was like, this ain't fun.
Yeah, if now that I know that you're doing it, it's not fun anymore. There is a neurological chemical that's released because you're having this big affair. But now that everybody knows, you don't get that same
rush
endorphins released, because now it's not taboo. It's not, everybody knows now.
Yeah.
So
like I said, it can become addictive. So dealing with the feelings of addiction and just like I said, finding the root cause and going from there and getting the help you may need. If you need therapy, if you need counseling, everything he said about the word of God. But everybody may not even, they may be a baby Christian and don't even know how, to even what to do. And I would definitely start with just reading God's word.
Let me ask y'all something. As you were going through this lifestyle of infidelity, did you intentionally remove yourself from ministry?
No.
We did get removed.
We did get removed, but we did not intentionally remove ourselves from ministry. And Sarah has asked me this question several times when I first was being unfaithful, but then later on, you understood why I did. Part of it is you're keeping up an appearance. Part of it is if I step down, people are going to know it's something going on. And so that goes back to your heart. Like, do I really want to get help, or do I want to keep up this facade that everything's okay?
Right.
Then on one level, all I've done is church my whole life, not have a relationship with God, not grow in wisdom and stature and understanding of the scripture. That's not what I'm trying to do. I want to go to church. And so that's what I do. I go to church.
Patty cake with church people.
Yeah, and I go through the motions of church, but I do not get the spiritual food that I need to be healthy and strong enough to fight. In most churches, just sad, especially in the United States, they don't feed the word well enough to produce strong Christians. We water down the word so much that we can't produce strong Christians. And then we wonder why Christians are divorcing at a rate equal to the world. Because we don't teach the word.
So I know that you said that you was removed. Are you saying that your pastor found out and then he removed y'all from the ministry?
It got to an ugly head and it exploded.
Yeah.
And my pastor said, we're going to set y'all down. And we sat down for 6 months.
Okay.
No singing, no teaching, no nursery, no nothing.
You get your life together.
But I appreciated that. I did. And one thing I can also appreciate about our church was that nobody that I can remember, I don't recall, and I could ask him, treated us bad.
That's good.
And they knew why we were sitting down. Everybody knew why. Because it came to a head. And at church. But nobody, at least that I saw or could tell, like I said, they loved us through that.
Yeah.
My pastor, he told us he was and my first lady, how disappointed they were. She definitely let me know how disappointed she was. But she said, but I still love you. And they weren't mean to us, they weren't ugly to us. And so that brings back to the same thing. Like, I love you, you did something wrong, we're gonna work through it.
That's good. That's good. Well, I definitely thank you guys for being on the show. Again, this has just been such an eye-opener for so many of us because we don't have that opportunity to ask individuals who's been delivered from infidelity in their relationship and what it looked like from the beginning, what it looked like in the midst of, and then also what it looked like, that deliverance portion of it. And also the fact that you're sharing with us that it is you're daily being intentional about like loving on this person, also like honoring your relationship, with God through this marriage as well. And so a lot of times we don't hear about the daily part. We just hear, oh, they no longer do it. But like you said, it's a daily thing that you saying to yourself, okay, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do this. And so again, I definitely appreciate you guys. Again, I appreciate you all, the viewers who's tuned in to our very first relationship talk with Martinique. Next month, we will have another couple on the show that will be talking to us more about how they maintain abstinence, sexual abstinence from dating until marriage.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Yeah. So make sure you guys make sure that you all, just stay posted. I'll definitely post their flyer as well. Again, if you are interested in following Seymond, make sure you go to his Facebook page, The Master's Rabbi. Again, if you are a Christian single, or if you're in a relationship, you're married, or just boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're interested in being on the show, make sure you go ahead and fill out that form that's right under all of those stars that's in the description box. We definitely hope that you guys have a great night, and we will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.